Guys, so sorry about having to make this in 2 videos. I just kind of ran out of time this morning, so I just picked up with question 7. We are still solving the system of equations using substitution. In this case, this is more like question 5, where we don't have to solve either of the equations for one of the variables. It's already done for us. So this is a stuff equals more stuff problem. So again, it doesn't matter which way you substitute. I like to work top to bottom, so that's what you'll see me do most often. So with our equation, we have y equals 1/3 x plus 2. I'm going to take this expression, 1/3 x plus 2, and I'm going to substitute it in for the variable in the second problem. So when I do that, what I end up getting is 1/3 x plus 2 equal to 1/6 x plus 4. And then this is a problem from chapter 1. You'll notice that we have variables as coefficients for our x terms, so we have to make sure that they have a common denominator. Right now they don't. They have 1/3 and it's 1/6. So I'm actually going to off to the side, make sure I get a common denominator. Well, the common denominator between 3 and 6 is 6, so I actually don't have to change anything with the bottom, or this 1/6 fraction. That stays the same, but I do need to change the top. So for me to get to a fraction that has a denominator of 6, I have to multiply the top and bottom by something. Well, 3 times what gives me 6? That's 3 times 2 gives me 6. If I multiply the bottom, I have to multiply the top, so then that gives me 1 times 2, which is 2. So I have 2 6 and 1 6. So actually I replace that in my problem. So instead of saying I have 1/3 x, I actually have 2 6 x plus 2 equals, again, I didn't change anything on the right, so I just have 1 6 x plus 4. Now I can go about solving my problem. I'm going to move the smaller variable term. 2 6 is larger than 1 6, so I'm going to move 1 6 because it's a smaller one. I'm going to subtract 1 6 x from both sides. 2 6 minus 1 6 x is just 1 6 x. This plus 2 just carries down, so I have plus 2 carrying down, equals, I haven't done anything with this 4, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Now I'm going to move all my constants to the other side. Now I have to undo addition with subtraction, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. This leaves 1 6 x on the left equals 4 minus 2. Oops, freaking out here. 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, from here we have to get our x by itself. There's 2 ways you can do this. Option 1 is my favorite. It's multiply by the reciprocal. When you have a fraction attached to your variable, the reciprocal is the upside down fraction, which is 6/1. The other option is to undo that secret operation of multiplication with division, and then you would have division of fractions, so you'd have to use copy dot flip. It's a lot of extra work there, so I'm going to use the option 1, multiplying by the reciprocal. When I do that, I'm going to multiply now. It's not going to be a fraction, so I have 2, and I put it over 1 to make it a fraction, times 6/1. When I'm multiplying in fractions, I can multiply tops and bottoms. So 2 times 6 is 12, 1 times 1 is 1, and 12/1 is 12. So right here, this tells me what I hope to be the first part of my solution, the x value of 12. Now what I'm going to do is take this x value, I'm going to go back up to the beginning problem. And again, it doesn't matter which one you plug it into. You just need to plug it into one of the original problems. Whatever one looks the easiest, I would say. So you can compare 1/3 x plus 2 versus 1 6 x plus 4. It doesn't really matter. They're both pretty equally the same in terms of level of difficulty, so I'll just plug it into this top one. So this gives me now y equals 1/3 times 12 plus 2. When I'm multiplying with fractions, I like to make everything a fraction, so I'm going to put 12/1. And from here, I can just cross-reduce. 1 and 1 can't simplify, that stays the same, but 3 and 12 can simplify. 3 goes into itself 1 time, and 3 can divide into 12 4 times. So what I'm left with is 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1, plus 2. 4 over 1 is the same thing as 4, so I have 4 plus 2, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So that is what I hope to be my y coordinate, but I have to make sure I check my answer to be sure. So let me just go down here and say check. And in my first equation, again, we're just going to replace our x value with 12 and our y value with 6. So I have, 6 equals 1/3 times 12. I'm going to put that over 1, plus 2. That's our first one. And our second one is 6 equals 1/6 times 12. And I'm going to put that over 1, plus 4. And we're just going to multiply it out, see what we get. So on the left, I have 6 equals. I already know I can cross-reduce these to get 4 plus 2. And so 4 plus 2 is definitely 6. So it works in the top equation. Moving to the other side here, I can cross-reduce again. 1s can't cancel, but the 6 and 12 can simplify. 6 goes into 6 goes into itself 1 time, and 6 goes into 12 2 times. So this leaves me with 6 equals 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, plus 4. 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. 2 plus 4 equals 6. So it definitely works out, and my solution is 12, 6. Okay, these last two gave you guys the most trouble because I told you you have to write an equation. And I did tell you could do guess and check, and guess and check just gets you half credit, but they can be solved this way. Here I took the chart that I had posted on my website last week before your guys' test to help break down the word problem. If you didn't already look at it, you really need to look at it for preparing for your retake and for the Chapter 4 test to help learn how to work with these word problems. So here are some questions that we ask to form our problem. First one says, what are you trying to find? Then, what variables are you going to use, and what do they describe? And what are the conditions of the problem? That just means, what information do we know? And then the last part is putting it together. Each sentence in the word problem is going to tell you different pieces of information that you need. So let's just start here. Question 8. A math club has 40 members. That's nice. That sounds like some good information. Let me underline that. Then, the number of girls is less than 2 times the number of boys. How many members are boys and how many members are girls? Okay, so let's go to each question. Let's break it down. What am I trying to find? Well, I'm trying to find the number of girls and the number of boys. These are the things I don't know. Next question. What variables are you going to use? Well, this just comes from your answering question in this first box. The variables are going to represent the two things I'm trying to find. So let x equal the number of girls, and let y equal the number of boys. Not too bad. Next part. What are the conditions of the problem, or what information do we know? Let's go one sentence at a time. I know my club has 40 members, so there's 40 members. And well, my club is made up of boys and girls, because that's what I'm actually trying to find. So I know that my 40 members is the same thing as some number of girls. I should say girls. I know that my 40 members here is made up of some girls plus some boys. Why do I know it's plus? Well, I have a total. Total is found by adding. That's all from the very first sentence. The second sentence says the number of girls is in math represents the symbol equals. So this is saying that the girls equal 5 less than 2 times, okay, there's a lot going on here. So I have 5, let me circle that, less than. Less than means I'm taking away. And I'm taking away from what? I'm taking away 2 times represents multiplication. 2 times the boys. So let's just put this together. The girls, I'm going to start with my multiplication. So I have 2 times some number of boys, and if I take away 5 from that, that tells me my girls. The last step is putting in our variables. So I've already started to build my equations here in the third box. So instead of having these words, girls and boys, I'll put in the variables. So I have one equation, 40 equals x girls plus y boys, and the girls, or x, equals 2 times my boys is y minus 5. This is now a substitution problem. One equation is solved for my variable x. I'm going to take what it equals here and plug it into the top equation. So this gives me 40 equals, instead of x, I'm going to have 2y minus 5 plus 5. Or y, not 5, excuse me. Let me put that in parentheses here. Remember, there's a secret 1 right here that technically is being distributed. That's what allows me to drop my parentheses to give me 40 equals 2y minus 5 plus y. And I'm just going to combine like terms. So I have 40 equals 3y minus 5. Solving for y, I'm going to undo any addition and subtraction. So I'm going to undo subtraction with addition. I'm going to add 5. This gives me 45 equals 3y. Getting y by itself, I'm going to undo that secret operation of multiplication with division. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I have y equals 45 divided by 3. Well, that's 15. Remember, y is boys. So right now, I've already figured out how many boys. There's 15 boys. But to figure out the girls, I'm going to take this value, I'm going to scroll back up, and I'm going to plug it in to the second equation to find girls. So this gives me x equals 2 times how many boys? 15 minus 5. So I have x equals 2 times 15 is 30. Take away 5. This tells me that the number of girls is 25. So let me just put this into words here. I have 25 girls. I should say solution. 25 girls and 15 boys. Notice I did not write my answer as a coordinate point. Why? Well, my problem is asking very specifically boys and girls. So I want my answer to address that. Blank boys and blank girls. There you go. That's your first word problem, all broken down using our chart. Let's move on to the second one. Or the last one of the test, actually. Chapter number 9. This says, the perimeter of a rectangle is 36 feet. That sounds important. Perimeter of rectangle is 36. The length is, I know that's a math symbol, 2 less than, that's subtraction, 3 times is multiplication, the width. Answers, what is the width, or what is the length, and what is the width? Same chart, so let's just go through each question. What are you trying to find? I'm trying to find the length and the width. Okay, what variables am I going to use and what do they describe? Well, this comes from our answer here. What am I trying to find? Let's just let length equal x, x equals length, and let my width equal the y. What are the conditions of the problem, or what information do we know? Well, I know perimeter is, I forgot to circle that, that's an equal sign. So I know P for perimeter is or equals 36 feet. Well, what else do I know? I know that the length is, I spelled length wrong. Oops, let me fix that. The length is or equals, it's 2 less than 3 times the width. So that means 3 times whatever that width is. I still can't, my goodness. Let me write this down here. Length is 3 times the width and take away 2. I'm taking away 2 less than that. Okay, there's still some other information. Perimeter. Perimeter of a rectangle. Let me draw a little rectangle over here. Here's our rectangle. We have length, width, length, width. Perimeter is adding up all your sides. So really, this perimeter is 2 lengths plus 2 widths. This right here is what a lot of you forgot. Perimeter is distance all the way around. There's 4 sides, so I have to count for the 2 long sides and the 2 small sides. Let's put this all together now. So, write a system using the conditions and the variables. Well, perimeter, I know now that that's 2 length plus 2 width. My length is x, so I'm going to have 2x plus 2 width is y, and it's supposed to equal 36. Then I know the length, or x, equals 3 times my width, and my width is y, so I have 3y minus 2. There's my system. And again, this is another substitution problem. I already have one variable solved, so I'm just going to plug that into the top equation. So this gives me 2 times, and in parentheses, what does x equal? It equals 3y minus 2 plus 2y equals 36. This is now distributive property, and again, still chapter 1 problem at this point. I'm going to distribute my 2, and I distribute using multiplication. So 2 times 3y, that's 6y. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Didn't do anything with plus 2y, I'm going to bring it down. Didn't do anything with 36, going to bring it down. I'm going to combine my terms, 6y and 2y, that's 8y. Minus 4 equals 36. Getting my variable by itself, I'm undoing addition and subtraction first. So undoing subtraction is addition. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. This gives me 8y equals 36 plus 4 is 40. Getting y by itself, I'm going to undo that secret operation of multiplication with division. So now I'm left with y equals 40 divided by 8. Well, that's 5. Okay. Well, remember y is your width, so I now know what my width is. But I need to find my length as well, so let's take this value I just came up with, and we're going to plug it in to one of the original equations, and the easiest one is this x, because that's what I'm trying to find. It's already solved for. So I have x equals 2 times the value of our width, which is 5, minus 2. Oops, that's not a 2, that's a 3. So now I have x equals 3 times 5 is 15, minus 2. That gives me 13, or that my length is 13. So let me go down here, let me say my solution. Length equals 13 feet. I'm getting the units from the problem. And my width is 5 feet. There you go. That's how you break down your word problems. Again, you really should be using the resources I give you on the website, like this chart, and I have an example of word problems as well. Use this to prepare for a retake, correct all your problems, and get that scheduled. Thanks, guys.